Okay, so this is part 3 of Stone Ocean. We covered part 1 and 2 in previous videos. Go look for them. And if you haven't seen them, we go over the injustice in the anime. Because we, the manga readers, know that this shit ain't Disney if there's no Mickey. AKA, I am very upset that in the anime, I don't know if this is in the manga, I don't think so, Hermes is like, oh, here you go, Emporio, drive this plane. This is how the autopilot function works. Okay, 1, enemies don't know how to pilot a helicopter. 2, my boy Emporio drives a car. You think he needs autopilot for that helicopter? No. I bet that's anime bullshit to explain why they let an 11-year-old do this. Anyways, I'm the person with opinionated opinions, Annie.
And I'm the one who misses Foo Fighters, Minty, or FF, I guess.
And this is FunUntitled, where we serve every podcast with an FU.
So I guess they escaped out of jail.
Hell yeah.
Is that how season 2 ended? All I remember was FF dying, and then I'll be like, oh.
Yeah, season 2 ended with Jolyne fighting Mew, the blonde warden.
Oh, Mew.
And she's like, let go, Emporio. You're gonna drive a car. And he's like, yeah. I think that was the explanation in the manga, was that Emporio was like, I want to do it. And Jolyne and Hermes, who's only 5 years older, was like, hell yeah, you can.
Yeah, wasn't it like his dream or something to like drive something?
It was his dream to just get out of prison, I feel like. And then the Chad, Onasui, and Weather Report was like, well, you know.
Anastasia
And
like
Weather
a
Forecast.
Disney character.
We're like, yeah, we could break out anytime. Let's go now. My favorite Stone Ocean joke is everyone being like, wow, I can't believe we all went to prison for unjust reasons. And honestly, the actual murderer.
Anastasia!
If you do this to me one more time, Mrs. I got Foo Fighters' name wrong first minute.
The anime watchers don't know who Anasuya is, except that she's a very famous Japanese designer.
To be fair, I don't know any of these bands in JoJo, and I still enjoy it.
Hermes, very, like, more luxurious than Gucci. Yeah, we just talk about designers. I don't know what Emporio is. I don't know if that's like a duty free.
I thought he was just a baseball fan.
I don't know. No, I mean like the
Empire.
design. You think that's what it is?
No, but I think it's a clever thing.
No.
So Pucci's like, okay. I have my boyfriend Dio. He's looking up after me in heaven. Love you, babe. And then Dio's like, I'm gonna send you 3 sons to help you with your mission.
Like 3 wise men.
The Holy Trinity.
The 3 Stooges.
Yeah, and then he meets Todd Habercorn, to the D and to the Dumb. He's like, hell yeah.
I have a question before we go into the Dio's son plot line,
Sure.
which is actually the Jonathan's son plot line. Why does Weather Report have a star-shaped birthmark?
It's because he's connected to Pucci, and Pucci got a, like, star mark to connect him to Dio when he merged with Green Baby.
What?
I don't know why. In JoJo, it's very important that, like, they all have a sixth sense of where their relatives are. That's kind of like if I was in the mall and I was like, where's Minty? And he was like, OD'd in the corner. And I'm like, I said something wrong.
I guess that is true. Right? The show's always had a thing about like stan users are attracted to other stan users.
Yeah, but now it is like we're attracted to our relatives and maybe a non-platonic. Do you believe in gravity?
God.
Gravity in the South. So yeah, Pucci meets the 3 and he's like, alright, y'all wanna be murderers? And my man, the controller of Bohemian Ecstatic, was like, hell yeah, mama, I killed a man.
That does how the song goes.
That's how, yeah. And his powers for all the kids at home is that he can make any fictional character come to life. It's a terrible power.
That was just weird.
It's too confusing to me why the area of effect was the whole entire planet.
To be fair though, I would say of all the fights, this one was the most memorable one.
What was memorable? The part where how it concluded? You tell the audience how it concluded.
If all fictional characters can exist and their stories must come true, then if Weather Report uses Van Gogh's talented hand to create a character that can solve this specific problem by putting all the fictional characters back into their books, it should work. And it did.
So basically, Weather Forecast with his little amnesia episode was like, I may not remember my past, but I can make an OC.
Anyone can make an OC.
And I'm gonna get Vincent Van Gogh. I think Weather Forecast OC should have had big anime titties. That's my one complaint about this arc.
His true love didn't have big vaginas.
My first thought was Pucci.
No, he wouldn't fall in love with his brother.
No, we were talking about Anastasia, his real boyfriend. I fucking ship Anastasia and Weather Forecast so much.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a multi-shipper, man.
Do you like that ship more than Anastasia and Jolyne?
I think I like them the same. I just like the fan art with Anastasia and Jolyne better.
Oh god.
What, huh?
Nothing.
So then we go on to the second son, and then this time we go over to what Jolene's doing. She's like, I'm gonna see my ex-boyfriend. Ex-boyfriend, you feel bad? Yeah. Okay. We're taking your helicopter. And then that's the scene I complained about. Emporio drove the helicopter with his own merit, no autopilot bullshit. And then a man in a cow costume came and was like, ooh, woo, what if I attack you with weird phallic bacteria or something? I don't really know what they are.
They were microscopic bacteria?
It's not bacteria, because if they were bacteria, they couldn't see it. But they're like, in the manga, they have a whole infographic page that the anime didn't go over, so...
It was phallic shaped.
It's a weird creature that you can't see unless, like, you look at them peripherally. Or if you have stand abilities. So this cow guy is like, I've had anxiety my whole life, and Father Pucci helped solve my panic attack, so I owe him my life.
This is what I don't get. Pucci meets them very recently.
Yes.
And he's changed all their lives.
Well, except the blonde guy. That's why the blonde guy's kind of like, I don't give a shit about this guy.
Sure, but I'm like, does like Pucci fall in love with Dio fast, and people fall in love with Pucci fast, and I don't know, it just seems like a weird getting hooked up with everyone in the family
I'm
kind of
doing
situation.
my hand in the Italian hand gesture of, it's gravity. Do you believe in gravity?
There's just a lot of family relations going on.
Anyways, Cowman can control these little phallic things, and what the whole shebang is that they steal body heat. And I told Minty, watch this. This scene makes me uncomfortable, but it's a plot point. And then Emporio goes, I'm peeing blood. It's stored heat from my kidney, so I'm peeing blood. And I'm like, I had to watch an 11-year-old do that. He's having a tough day.
You know, to be fair though, most girls get their period at age 11 and 12, so
I don't need to hear that.
Emporio's just having an out-of-body experience.
So Jolene's like, I don't know, the conclusion of this fight was stupid, but like Jolene's like, I let you put your hand in the back of my neck, so that way like when you do your final attack, it wouldn't work for some reason. And we're gonna like all debate for like 5 minutes. Was that luck? Was that God? Was that intentional?
Was it gravity?
Gravity. Isaac Newton quaking in his boots.
Rolling in his grave.
I didn't care for that fight. The Bohemian Rhapsody was more fun.
I like the phallic-shaped bugs.
You like Cowman?
No.
Like when Cowman set himself on fire?
No. I just like penises flying around.
So then we get to the third Dio's son, who's like, his name is Versace, I think, but in the dub, his name is Versus.
It's actually kind of a cool name.
Yeah, it's a cool name. And he's like done with Pucci, and Pucci's like, I am going to make you eat this fish. And Versus is like, God, my life has been so fucking hard.
What was the point of that scene?
Eat the fish?
Yeah.
I thought it was just homoerotic, I don't know.
Erotic.
Pucci wasn't talking for a while. I think that was it. And then Versus' ability is that his stand can recreate any memory in the ground.
Which I actually think is a very cool power.
A little OP.
Sure, but he's in the most weirdest way. Like, why have this cool power and the way to enter is to go underground and then you enter a plane?
2 planes, in fact. Like, there was no murders that we could have used to kill Jolyne and Hermes other than plane-related accidents.
And you couldn't find the one where there were no survivors? I'm sure there's a million planes with no survivor crashes.
So, like, Emporio's like, I'm gonna go give Jotaro's memory disc back to him. And meanwhile, Jolene's calling, like, hey, I know it's been, like, only 2 minutes. We're on a fucking plane. Google this shit. And the boy's like, oh, God. The world is on my shoulders.
This is 2011?
Hell yeah.
Was the internet that good at that time?
I think so. Okay, in 2011, I was in 11th grade. I just doxed my age, y'all. yeah, I was using the internet a lot. I was on DeviantArt.
Okay. I mean, sometimes the internet at one point was not the greatest.
You know what's bullshit is that Emporio had his, like, 1990s computer, and you're telling me, okay, so I have just great internet connection.
It was a ghost computer. It's got ghost Wi-Fi. There's no buildings that can block its signal.
You know, if you think about it, Jolyne also takes place in 2011, and Yasuho is using that Wi-Fi like crazy.
She's got unlimited minutes, which is unheard of at that time.
So stupid. Oh, what did you think about the versus fight?
I just liked it in concept. The execution of it was like weird. And wait, how did Versus get 3 random kids to fall into the hole?
He lured them in with candy.
How?
I think he just made holes in the ground for those kids to like fall into.
Oh, okay.
Because that's how he made the first hole, right? I think he just does a lot of earth bending.
I think he's got more powers than we think he does.
Yeah, probably. Dude, the way they use Ermi's powers, I'm like, I'm not sure if that's how it works, but if you tell me that's how it works, sure.
To be fair, she was not utilized in this season.
Like, I don't know if making duplicates mean that you can hide kids in a man burrito. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of blanked out on that part.
I think she ate Jolyne at one point, by the way. We don't talk about how Ermi's eat Jolyne.
And I think at this point, this is when like Pucci, Versus like abandons Pucci.
He kind of does the pocket sand thing, but instead of sand, it's weather forecasts memories.
Pocket sand.
Yeah, like, yeah. And Pucci's like, I don't know when you got that, but that's because it's not yours to give out. And then, so Weather gets his pass, and I think in this part, we have to assume when Weather has his entire flashback of getting his memories back, he's actually like telling Anastasia everything. Because Anastasia caught up with everything, and this has to be the only time he could have found out. Alright, Minty, I need you to tell Weather Forecast Pass with Pucci, because if I do it, it's gonna get weird.
A random new mother had her baby, but the baby died of SIDS. Basically, right?
Say what SID is.
Sudden infant death syndrome. Basically, a baby dies for an unknown reason, and it's kind of common. It's not like unheard of. So because she's so strict in her grief, she switches her baby with a different baby, not knowing that it was half black, half white, because it was very white passing. And that baby happened to be Weather Forecast, also known as Wes.
To be fair, West Aquamarine, she also married a black man.
Did she?
Yeah, that's what. Okay, that's when the KKK in the manga was like, well, it turns out his mom married a black man. That's why they burned down his home.
You think that's why she specifically put that baby? She knew it was half black, half white?
Probably. Why else would you go after the witch's family baby? You're telling me that's the only baby born that day? I don't think so.
Maybe she wanted her baby to have a good funeral.
Jesus.
What?
Okay, but she steals a baby.
So Pucci grows up with just a younger sister, and Weather Forecast grows up as a poor kid. Pucci does his gay thing with Dio. Pucci is a man of the church. For some reason, they never explain why he found God in his life.
They only explain that his family had like a deep connection with religion, but they never explain why Pucci himself wanted to get into the ministry.
So one day, Pucci's just doing his non-gay thing, and there's a woman in the confessional booth, and she's like confessing all her sins, and he's like, I don't know if this counts as a confession, so I think you're gonna go to hell anyways. Because I'm not a father, but you're telling me that you switched a baby, and that baby is probably my brother, but I can't say anything because then it would go against his oath to not share this type of information because of confidentiality, even though, again, you are not a priest and you do not uphold these oaths.
Man, Pucci wasn't even in that confessional booth. He was cleaning the window outside.
I know, I'm like, wait, lady, don't you want to make sure someone's in there?
Yeah, you know, knock courtesy. Wait, someone just there 24/7? I haven't been to a church for a long time. There could be someone in there just being like sleeping.
No, I'm pretty sure they're office hours.
Oh, if I could volunteer to just hear confessions and just sleep in the booth, things I would do.
Again, what good would that do? It doesn't absolve them. You're not gonna tell them, alright, this is like 4 Hail Marys.
I could. I'll be like, roll a D&D dice.
They'd be like, can we say one together now, Father? Who sounds like a woman.
I can say the Our Father.
The Hail Mary.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. And then at that point, I start mumbling.
You just keep saying watermelon.
So Pucci's like conflicted now, right?
Right, because he can't tell anyone that like his brother's alive. But what he does find out is that, wait, actually, so while this is going on, Pucci's brother and Pucci's sister meet up at a diner.
Because as we said, Wes is poor. He needs that money. He's working a part-time job.
They fall in love, not knowing that they're like full-blooded siblings.
Now mind you, like I said, Weather Report is telling this story, so he's like, now who would you blame? It's like, I would probably blame the mom or Pucci.
I would blame Pucci.
It's definitely not Weather's fault.
It's definitely not the girl's fault.
What's her name? Starts with a P. Perla? I think her name's Perla.
It was the one name I never wrote down. But like, how did Pucci find out that that's his brother?
I think he looked into it after the mom confessed, and he's like, well, I have all this information. I can't do shit with it.
So like, did she like confess his sin? And he was like, all right, so what's your name, address, social security?
I'm sure you can just look in the hospital being like, looks in the newspaper, this baby was born today.
Again, just as you said, they're not the only babies born.
I don't know. He figured it out, okay? He knows that, okay, this is my brother, this is my sister. They are making out.
And to not hurt my sister's feelings, I'm gonna hire a guy to scare Weta so badly that they break up, not knowing that the guy is a racist. And as we said, finds out that Weta is like the son of a black man and a white woman, and that they should beat him up. In the anime, they're just a bunch of, what, Floridian?
Just normal
racist
Americans.
white men. In the manga, that was the KKK, 100%.
And we were riot. I think that KKK might be copyrighted. That's my game theory.
You think that's it?
Yes.
Not that is an incredibly sensitive subject.
If you think about it, they show Nazis on like Rick and Morty. You ever seen the KKK in the Rick and Morty?
It was KKK and Family Guy. How'd they get by with it?
Did they? Well, to be fair, Family Guy has Mickey Mouse too. I don't think they care about copyright.
Does South Park have the KKK? South Park has Mickey Mouse.
I only know when they tried to scare Token's family away and they tried to be ghosts.
No. We're not talking about like jokingly. You know?
I don't know if they have the real KKK.
You remember that Family Guy joke?
What?
I think it's like Peter goes to Vegas. No, Lois goes to Vegas to get Peter, and she does the whole the graduate scene.
Yeah.
And she takes Peter away, and then they're in the bus, and when they look back, there's like a car chasing them, and it's like the KKK, and Peter's like, ghosts are chasing us. And Lois just deadpan stares at him.
Why not black? Unless.
I don't know why the joke was made.
Alright. So yeah, hey, no offense, y'all. I don't know why I said no offense, but sensitive topic. But it does get lynched.
That part they keep in, but.
And Pilla's like, oh, can't check for posts. And I think I 50-50 might have got sexually assaulted in the manga. Either that or Annie like gaslit themselves into thinking that. But I'm gonna throw myself off a cliff.
And she drowned.
And then Pucci's like, I'm gonna create a perfect world where everyone knows if they commit incest or not.
Which is actually weird because in his world, the dead don't come to the new world. So what's the point of the new world if she's not in it?
Only if you die during the fast forward part, you won't be in the new world.
Oh, that's stupid.
So like, obviously all the main cast that died doing that won't come back. But in Stupid, it's like everything's predetermined. So your sister and your brother will know that they're doing incest, but they're still gonna do the incest.
Well, I mean, only he would know. I don't know if they ever told her.
Well, because that's like Pucci's whole perfect world, is that everyone would know what happens. That's why the guy's like, oh, I'm gonna fall down that staircase.
I assume they only knew what happened to themselves. You think they know what happened in all of the world?
Well, no, but I think they only know what happened to themselves. That's still her relationship, and I'm guessing she'll find out eventually.
You assume somebody would tell her.
Oh, Weather Report has to know, like, oh, I'm about to, he's a baby, that I'm about to get kidnapped.
Maybe he's okay with it.
Anyways, so yeah, that was the whole flashback.
I think the part that bothers me is that, okay, so he gets his memories back, right? And now he becomes heavy forecast.
Yeah.
And his power is that, like, he can create these rainbows that can destroy the ozone layer. But then the narrator is like, now, if you destroy the ozone layer, we don't know what happens, so we have to guess. And the guess they came with was that people turn into snails. And it's not like some people just turn into one big snail, and others turn into a million normal snails.
Is that how they explain it? The ozone layer got destroyed? That's how the rainbows were made?
That, as far as I remember it, and we just watched it within the past week, yeah.
What the hell? Why is there's no global warming, just heavy forecast meme?
I don't know.
It's stupid, the whole, you see weather forecast. If I don't look at your rainbow, I won't get subliminal messages turning me into a snail. So I took the CDs out of my tiny eyeballs so I can't see. I'm like, your ability lets you do what now?
It was something about the rainbow causes something subconscious to happen.
It's like that ASMR where if you listen to it overnight, you can turn blonde. That's what Jolyne will listen to.
What?
That's a meme joke.
Oh, okay. I was like...
But the actual is ASMR where if you listen to it, someone's very quietly whispering, you will turn blonde. Your hair feels blonde.
This is like learning Japanese in your sleep.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, Pucci and weather forecast has a little tussle down. It was okay.
It was a cool fight, but just to have like Jolyne smash into weather report and be like, fight's over, it was kind of like anticlimactic. And then Jolyne was like, I'm sad for the moment and it caused weather forecast to die, but I gotta move on.
Isn't that the entirety of Stone Ocean though? Cool fight, terrible ending.
That's kind of thing for JoJo in general, let's be honest. They only got a couple of fights that are really good. I mean, remember the fight with Yoshikage Kira?
Oh yeah, well. Yeah. So yeah, weather's with Foo Fighters in the great plankton sky. I don't think he gets to go to heaven.
No, not for his willingness to do things.
I think if you piss off a priest, you don't get to go in heaven. So Pucci goes to NASA, not a joke. And then he's like, whoa, my Stan Whitesnake just turned into Sea Moon.
Yeah, why did he have to go to NASA?
I don't know, man. I think he just had a compel to go there. I think, oh, you know what? I think he needed that rocket ship for some reason.
What?
I don't know. For some reason, his Stan was like really ingrained into gravity, so he needed to wait for the full moon to happen. So I guess you go to NASA, that's where moon shit happens.
And how does Pale Snake, whose main ability is to make CDs, and Green Baby, whose main ability was the whole size thing, come together and make Sea Moon, which is the ability to make gravity go wayward?
Well, that implies I can explain how Sea Moon, the gravity stand, turns into Made in Heaven, the fast-forward time acceleration stand. And that also requires me to explain how the fuck Dio knew any of this. Because Dio's the one who told Pucci about all this, I think.
Oh, in the book, right?
Yeah, that's why you need the book from Jotaro. I don't know why Jotaro thought it was a great idea. Like, I'm gonna burn Dio's book, but I will read all of it first.
Why wouldn't you? I would definitely read it.
If it's evil enough to burn, it's evil enough not to read.
I don't know, it's kind of like the whole World War II experiments. You shouldn't have done it, but then should you not use the info?
So yeah, gravity's all fucked up. Now everything, like, I guess whoever Pucci's feet is, that determines where gravity is.
That made no sense.
So everything starts falling. Enemies get written out pretty quickly. Jolyne masters the, hey, if your stand can now turn people inside out, I will now be a Mobius strip with my string, which is pretty badass.
It also didn't really make sense because a Mobius strip doesn't necessarily have a beginning or an end. So basically she had to cut strings out to make it. And then they said like the only way to make a Mobius strip inside out is to hit it at like multiple places. And I'm like, so multiple or is it like infinite?
I don't know. I thought Mobius strip was impossible to make.
Yeah, I think it only exists in concept.
Okay, so Jolyne mastered it.
Because she's a Joestar.
And then, dun dun dun, Jotaro comes.
And Hermes.
And Hermes, yes.
Little baby chibi Hermes with big booby Jotaro.
And she's like, I shot this arrow and I used my stand to help me propel myself with the arrow. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, that was weird too. Yeah, I didn't get it.
I don't know what's happening. I thought your stand was just duplicating things. I know her fan will come and be like, very simple actually. And then like, I'm gonna be like, I don't care. I just accept it.
I mean, I guess this idea that the original and the copy come together.
But is she constantly showing the arrow herself? I guess Jotaro might be showing it.
I just don't know how she got the arrow. The Speedwagon
Foundation gave it to her. I know that for a fact.
Okay, but she would need the original and the copy, right? And then the original would have to be with Pucci for the copy to go to the original.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if she just had both, they wouldn't really go to each other.
Yeah.
So the Speedwagon Foundation would have to take it from Pucci, give it to Hermes to duplicate, and then give it back to Pucci.
Well, they just shot the arrow with a giant crossbow to Pucci. And then Jotaro was like, I'm gonna use my Jolyne senses to sense where Pucci is.
I feel like if you had a crossbow to send the arrow back to Pucci, you could have sent Jotaro and Hermes back the same way.
What, we're gonna put them on the crossbow?
Or a cannon. Or a plane.
So, this is a part I didn't get, even though I read the manga.
How did Sea Moon turn into Made in Heaven?
I don't know, man. That part I kind of just blanked. Because I kind of just resigned myself at this point, being like, this gets a little confusing. But I think, like, the Joestars, they were the one who was gonna help me, in fact.
Yeah, that was stupid.
So then Pucci is now Made in Heaven, so now he gets a little horse, and time accelerates really fast. We get a Rohan cameo for some reason.
That's one of the funniest jokes in JoJo. Also, Made in Heaven looks really cool.
No, he looks cool.
Looks like a carousel.
And the main cast like, how do we fight him? Everything around us is going like 5 times the speed, but we're going at the same pace. And Jotaro's like, alright, at this point, literally, Jolyne has no role to play in Stone Ocean. My time stop ability is the only thing that can really help us here.
And fuck that up.
Taya Cat dies. Jolene's like, alright, Emporio, we can't beat Pucci. I need you to ride this dolphin. to freedom.
Yeah, they didn't have a plan, right?
They did not have a plan.
So basically, Emporio survived, and the whole world Futuramas itself in that time goes so forward that it has to repeat itself. But because Pucci was in charge of how it repeats itself, it was, as we've already said, the people who were able to go into the new world knew what was going to happen so they could predict or prevent bad things from happening, which is a lot of plot holes, and I think we all know what those plot holes are.
Emporio's like, oh my god, I have to get away from Pucci, he's trying to kill me. No, wait, great idea. I'm going to use weather forecast stand ability that I got from a previous episode, and I'm going to use it to its full extent. Well, I'm going to choke out a bitch by making his oxygen level 100. And I'm like, weather forecast can do anything with this stand. Turn people to snails, control the oxygen, make it rain frogs.
Wait a second. Does that mean... Oh, right. Weather forecast didn't have full control of his powers.
Yes.
That's why the rainbow thing happened. Okay, I was gonna ask, like, why didn't he just do this in the first place? But yeah, that's right.
And he's like bullshit, like, I didn't defeat you, Pucci. It was weather forecast and Jolyne. And I'm like, good job writing the female lead out of the ending of her own damn story.
And then Emporio beat the shit out of Pucci so badly that they Futurama'd it again and made a whole new universe once more, but in a world where Jolyne is now Irene, and that the story and roles of the characters follow the names but not the bodies, which will make more sense when we see Steel Ball Run.
The next part. And Emporio's like, okay, so I guess I'm just in this new world now. What the fuck is Pucci?
I wonder if Pucci's dead or alive.
I wonder about that ant that was the whole transition to the next universe.
He is the original ancestor.
And that was Stone Ocean. Not everyone's favorite part, but it's not bad. People who shit on it is just sexist.
I think story-wise, it's still... Actually, I was gonna say story-wise it was the worst, but then I remember Jolyne. That has the worst storyline. Not the worst ending. I think it's kind of cool. I think it allows Araki to kind of go back in time because Steel Ball Run takes place in the Wild West, so it manifests destiny.
I think the ending isn't the worst in the JoJo's because, like you said, Jolyne exists. But it's definitely the most like, what the fuck? Which is like a JoJo thing, I guess. I guess it's on par for me with Diamond's Unbreakable. Diamond Unbreakable had a weird ending.
That is true, yeah. The whole ambulance doing the final kill is kind of weird. I do think that Jolyne still could have had the role of Emporio. Just have it that when they get to the new world, like, she just doesn't remember anything. Like, she's just Irene now. And that her name is transferred to some other body.
This is Steel Ball Run. Spoilers. I like the fact that Steel Ball Run, the very last ending, is a Jonathan versus Dio.
I'm on the fence about that one.
Really?
Because I never found Dio to be the main bad guy of Steel Ball Run.
Yeah, but I feel like you had to do it for the Phantom Blood, themes.
I kind of, yeah. Because he's technically not Dio.
Yeah, but I just think that was nice. So I wish Stone Ocean, they carried that. Like, it's a weird, like, someone said it's a next generational thing. Like, in part 4, that's why, what's-his-face, the kid of Shinobu and the real guy, was, like, the kind of one who was, like, the main role in part 4 with the Another One Bites the Dust. I think his name is Hayato or something.
Is that why they did that?
Yeah, like, they're, like, moving on with the next generation because, like, the whole JoJo theme is, like, the children's the future. And I'm like, no, we didn't need Emporio to do this. He was, like, a weird character in the first place. I wish, like you said, they brought Jolyne back as Irene to make it, like, all full circle.
How does that work in 3? Because one made sense because Erina had the baby and she was pregnant. Joseph got married to Suzy Q. Jotaro was just there.
I think that's why Joseph and Jotaro had to be there to show, like, the children was continuing on, and, like, Jotaro did what Jonathan couldn't, kill a vampire.
I get. Well,
But with that, we'll close the book on the Joestar bloodline. We'll have a whole ending dedicated to all the parts. We'll ask ourselves, why part 5, the boat scene where they left Fugo? Okay.
That was a lot of questionable moments.
And we will continue on to Steel Ball Run, where we're gonna see a lot of CGI horses.
Hey, 3D animation has come a long way, surprisingly.
Until then, I don't remember Jolene's catchphrase.